to our okay. So welcome to our let's see, our sharing section today. So my name is Võ Duy Đức. I am the one of the facilitator and my friend. Yeah, can you please can you please introduce yourself first, Miss Hồng?
All right, so hello everyone. My name is Holmes. I'm an English teacher from Leon from High School for the Gifted, and very nice to meet you all today.
Okay, so we glad to be here to share with you about like the very interesting session. I mean the course offered by British Council in collaboration with VietTESOL, and in order to join our quiz, and also we have like a few some kind of gift. We would like you all to join our slide so that we could like go through different sections, and also we could play some games so that the most active participants today could get, I mean, you have possibility to get some kind of special gifts from the organizers. Okay. So please scan the QR code today so that you can enter the class, the quizzes of us today. So as far as I know, just two participants are joining with us. So anybody else? Can you please scan the QR code, or you may enter joinmyquiz.com with the code 3 03 4420. Is that okay? I think we just spend a few minutes to just wait for a few more participants to join. Okay. So I could see 6 participants today. You're welcome. Welcome Miss Bảo Ngon, right? Nguyên Thư, Mai Trần, Phương Nhật, Miss Trà, right? Trần Thị Cải. Anybody else? So just one more minute. I think I should start so that we won't waste any more time of us, because like I think that like the later you come, I mean you are very busy, right, with your work and also your family, businesses, things like that. So I think just one more minute. Okay, 7. Okay, let's start. So okay, so let me tell you a little bit about our sharing today. So, to be honest, me and Miss Hong in here, we are not totally an expert in this broad field. So, we think that something that we have really much interest in is about the assessing learning course, is that like we would like to focus more on special education needs. so that we would go through different kind of information about special education needs. And also, we also mentioned some kind of assessment which may help you to improve your your knowledge about special education needs, but also the way that you would make the students to become more confident in your class, especially with those students who have special education needs. Okay, so yeah, let's start. Let's get started. Um, let me tell you a little bit about the definition of special education needs. So, this refers to a range of learning difficulties and disabilities that require special provision to support a student learning. So, in terms of student learning, so some students may have some difficulties in cognition, and also they may have some kind of different kind of emotions, something like that. So, the way that we would perceive them, and also we have some kind of satisfactory support, and also we could have some kind of feedback so that they could become more really confident in the class, and also they are able to join the class as a normal student. So as far as I know, in Vietnam, we are having inclusive, like we are teaching with inclusivity, so that like all the students would be treated equally. Okay, so if the student who may have significantly greater difficulty in learning compared to other peers, so or they may have some disabilities that hinder their access to general educational facility. So as a role of the teacher, what should we do? So we would like dig in more about it. Okay, so but before moving to the role of the teacher in special education needs, I would like to um, have a question for you. So please, can you choose which one is the accurate one of SEN definition? I'm sorry. So just only you, VTC, you answer the question, but it's not correct. So um yeah, my question would be like the definition of SEN, that would be the special educational needs include students who are gifted, not only just struggling student. And I would go deeper to this concept later. Okay. Okay, I have a second chance for you all. So what should a teacher do if they suspect a student has special educational needs? Just two of you. Anybody else? Okay, congratulations, Bảo Ngân. You are the only one of the two people who's trying to answer the question. Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, please, if you are the teacher and you are having a student who might have, or they are likely to show some kind of symptom related to SEN, so you may discuss with the college or the parent. Okay, so my next slide would be so what is the role of the teacher in identifying SEN, special educational needs? So teacher often serve at the first line of observation for identifying potential SEN in the students. I mean, the teacher is the one that can recognize the symptom. I mean, and also they can notice the signs so that they may have some kind of prediction on the difficulties and behavior, and also it helps the teacher to indicate the need of additional support. But um, honestly, they are not responsible for diagnosis because they are not specialists. So the teacher in the class, they may see them as a special cases, so that they may have like some kind of more concerns. They may have some more concerns, and also they could be careful in instructing student, or they may let the student to get like uh, more facilitating instruction, something like that, so that the teacher is not the expert in this aspect. So I think to be honest, like the teacher can be the one who can be the observer, the first one to signpost it, but it's not the responsibility of them to help themselves like academically, but not only like medically. Okay. I would go next to the type of SEN and their indicator. So through the course, I have learned a lot. And also I would like to categorize them into 6 types, okay? For the first one, there would be communication and interaction. So they may have some kind of difficulty in understanding and using language. Somehow they find it hard to speak out a word, or even like to generate a whole sentence, or even they may have some kind of distraction in the class when they are hearing, something like that. Also, with cognition and learning, they may have some kind of like short-term memory. I mean, they cannot remember the longer bits of information. And also, some students may have some kind of dyslexia, so they have difficulty in reading. So sometimes the student find it hard to read the whole sentence, and they find it hard to pronounce a single word. In that, when it comes to a faster pace, okay. And also we have social, emotional, behavioral development. So the issue with managing the emotions and relationship. For example, they may have like some kind of outburst, like they are too excited and they shout in the class, and they may have some kind of overreacting in the class. Also, we had another type like sensory or physical needs. So they have impairment in physical functioning, like sensory process. Like some students, they may not understand fully with the lesson, and also we have to accept that, like something like that. And also some students may have medical condition, like they have to some kind of medical issues, like with the hearings, or with the writing, I mean with the kinesthetics functions, something like that. Or even the student, they are too special, I mean in this case. So that's why in the questions previously I mentioned about SEN with the gifted. I mean some students, they are too good in a specific area, so they would demonstrate the ability above the peers. For example, some of my students, they show a very good repertoire in like astronomy, something like that. And when it comes to the time that they would share about the thing about astronomy things, like he will share a lot, and it's like a machine, like he's not like he's like talking really fast and really like fluently, rather than talking about like relationship or other things like the common thing, like something like that. So yeah, I would move to the next one. Maybe this is a question for you all. Oh, I forgot. So if you come later in the Zoom, can you please join us with the code? So you can find out joinmyquiz.com, and then you can enter this code. Okay, enter this code, and so you would be in our class. So the more the merrier, I think. So let's go up next. So this is the question for you. So which of the following is not a category of special educational needs? Just three of you, 3 out of 11, 4. Please come on. I think you all. Yeah, congratulations. So yeah, you are correct. So artistic ability is not a category of SEN. I mean, special educational needs. Because like it would thinking about the way that they would have like much knowledge about something. So artistically could be a different kind of symptom of other needs. Okay. So come up next. The next question. So, which student could be considered gifted or talented? Yeah, congratulations. You are all good. A student who excel at in a specific subject, as I mentioned before, right? Let's go up next. I would mention some techniques that we would like foster the inclusive assessment for the learner with SEN. I mean, these are just a technique. So to get deeper understanding about it, then we would go with Miss Hong, okay? So some of the technique I would like to mention is the flexible assessment format, or you may adjusting the time limits, okay? Or you may provide alternative resources, or you may have regular feedback throughout the course, or you may create a supportive environment. So I think to go deeper in each one, in each bullet points in here, could be like a long story to talk, okay, to tell. So yeah, so I think I would like to listen to your voice about this about SEN students. So could you please, you may raise your hand so that we know that you want to raise your voice, or you may leave some comments in here so that we can read out and share with the whole community. So have you ever encountered any students with special educational needs in your classroom? And yeah, so how are they? So what kind of characteristic or personality do they have? Okay, so some of the sharing that we may consider as like active participant may have like a chance to get a gift from the organizers. So so could you please type in the meeting chat, or you might unmute yourself so that you can share with us. So have you ever encountered any student with special educational needs in your classroom? So let me go first so that we won't have like any silence in our discussion. So I would like to share with you all I would like to share with you all my case. So my case would be like there are about 2 or 3 students. I mean they have like difficulty in emotional control. So when it comes to the class, they show their eagerness in the class that they would like to continue um, the lesson. But during the time that I'm teaching, they always make some kind of noise, and they couldn't keep it silent in the class, so that I couldn't. Sometimes at the very first time, I was really frustrated, and then when I read more about San, I felt that like okay, it's a kind of reaction. It's a natural reaction of the very special students. So who are like he is really he concerned that he is making noise, but he couldn't control it. And sometimes I have to spend time talking with their parents, and they show their it show that like um, they have like eagerness to help their son to continue the education, but they thought that like it's hard to help them become part of the class. I mean, with the students. So um, they would ask us to like create opportunities to let him join with different kind of in class activities, so that like he could be treated as a normal student. So yeah, that is my experience about working with SAM students. So yeah, and also sometimes I consider him as a very interesting part of the class because I know I know what he is excellent at. He's excellent at. He's really good at like the history of anime, and also I asked him to share with the whole class about it, and you know what, like he couldn't stop it. Like he shared it with his like the from his bottom of his heart, and also he shared it passionately. And yeah, I would treasure him as a very like interesting part of my teaching career. So yeah, that is my story. So do you have any kind of similar story as mine? um So I think it's almost consumed half of the webinar. I mean, sharing section. So that like, is it possible if I can skip this one? If you have any kind of story, can you please share it in the meeting chat? And at the very end of our session today, I would reread it. Okay. So spend some time to think about one of the stories that you have with the SEND student, I mean, special educational needs, who have difficulty in learning. Okay. So yeah, the stage is yours now, Miss Hong. Okay. So I would mute myself, and also I would move to your slide. Okay.
All right, thank you, Đức. And actually, I saw Miss Nhật Phương Ray. You raised your hand, right? So can you unmute yourself to maybe to express some feelings or you have a questions?
I want to share a story about Sam. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Mm, hello. Currently, I'm fluent freelance English teacher. Um, 1 year ago, I have a student with he has struggle with attention deficit. Um, I don't remember. I just it's ADHD. You know this kind of disorder. Do you know this kind of disorder ADHD? Vietnamese it means the rác tăng động giảm trí in Vietnamese. Yes. At the beginning, I find he had some problem with attention. At the beginning, uh, uh, it's quite difficult for me to teach him, to touch him. So I I already said to his mother. So for 5 months, for 5 months later, for 5 days later, she took him to the doctor, and the doctor said that he has ADHD problem. That is my story.
All right, thank you, Miss Nhật Phương, for your sharing. And actually, before the courts send the term was a very new and strange term for me, because I haven't had a chance to work with any students of difficulties like visual impairments. But my mind has changed. Because every year I often meet students with mental problems like autism or maybe depression. And actually, I'm teaching gifted students, and you know that gifted student are also categorized as a SEN, right? A student with special needs. So honestly, I struggle so many difficulties in teaching and especially assessing students fairly. So therefore, I hope to receive sharing and support from you in this sharing section. First of all, it's about the approaches to inclusive assessment. And can you move the next slide? Yeah. And you know that exclusive assessment practices aim to ensure that all students, regardless of their abilities or needs, can demonstrate their understanding and skills. And this involves recognizing diverse learning styles and creating assessments that accommodate various needs. So how to implement inclusive assessment and what strategies can be used? So let's do a small quiz. All right, so for this question, so according to you, what is a strategy for adapting assessment for learners with SEN, special educational needs? Which one is correct? All right, so you can type the answer in the chat if you cannot access the quizzes. Okay, so I saw the answer is D, 1D, right? Reducing time for completion, no? Yeah, so for this question, the correct answer is B. Yeah, providing alternative formats such as oral presentation or visual projects. Okay. You know that learners with special educational needs, we call SEN, often face challenging that make traditional assessment methods like standardized written tests we often use unsuitable and unfair. And adapting assessment ensures that every student can have equitable opportunities to demonstrate their knowledge and skills. And for example, with a student with dyslexia, the student that are very find it hard to read, right? So they may struggle with written texts, but can effectively communicate knowledge orally. So we can use spoken language, use oral text to maybe to assess them. And maybe student with autism might prefer visual projects over verbal explanation. Next one, can you move on to the next slide? All right, so about the strategy for adapting assessment. So you can see on the screen, we have three main strategies. The first one is diversifying formats. I think this one is very familiar to you because in this strategy, we often use a mix of oral, written, and practical assessments to cater to different strengths. For example, for my student, I often use oral assessment like interview or storytelling or presentation. About written assessment, like student will have to write an essay or complete a mind map instead of a traditional written essay. And about practical assessment, student can use hands-on activities like experiments or role playing or creating models. And the second strategy is adjusting difficulty levels. So in this case, I want to hear your voices about the way how can you adjust difficulty levels in your testing and assessing. How can you adjust difficulty levels? So can you tie in the, oh my God, my volume. Can you type in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself to answer the question about the way to adjust difficulty levels? Anyone? Anyone can answer the question about the way to adjust difficulty levels? Yeah, it's correct. So since student can spend more time play games, yeah. All right, so from a perspective, we can do some, we can follow some way to adjust difficulty levels. The first one is to simplify language. For example, we can, so I will give you an example. So when teaching, I often reduce the difficulty level of designing reading comprehension texts, especially with the format of newly announced graduation exam released maybe several months ago. You know that, for example, if I find a very interesting topic from FCE, but that the level of language is maybe at B2, right? But actually for students, we often expect that they can get B1 only. So in this case, I will maybe simplify some words or expression in the text by maybe using ChatGPT to maybe to make some prompts like please simplify the words or find the synonym for the word that has lower level. And the second one is you can assign offer some different levels of tasks based on students' ability. For example, for a reading assignment, level 1 maybe identify the main idea. Level 2 maybe summarize the text, and level 3 is about to analyze the author's tone and purpose. And next one is to scaffold the tasks. It means that you can break tasks into smaller and manageable parts with clear instructions. For example, you know that in the new textbook, we often make students to do a project, right? So for the project, we can ask students to provide step-by-step milestones. Like first one is to select a topic. Second one is to create an outline. And the next one is to write maybe some sentences for the topic. And the last one is, the last strategy is to provide additional resources by utilizing tools such as graphic organizers. So what is graphic organizers? You know that graphic organizer is some kind of mind map or storyboards to organize ideas. I think this one is very familiar to you. And you can also use assistive technology like for students with difficulty, maybe visually or orally, you can use speech to text software to help students with writing challenges. Can you move on to the next slide, please? All right, the next slide is about a question about technology. So how can you apply technology? And you can use technology to assist your testing. All right, so we have 5 answers and all correct, right? So we can use technology to provide diverse tools and resources for different learning needs. All right, so can you name some specific technology tools that you often use in your assessment? Can you name some specific technological tools? You can write in the chat box. POE, ChatGPT, yeah. Okay. So for me, with my student, I've often use some kind of Quizy or Kahoot or Padlet. Padlet is a way you can help students collaborate to make a writing assignment, or you can use maybe Canva to generate PowerPoints. I think they are very, yeah, we have Quizy, Kahoot, Azoter, yeah, Booklet, Bamboo, right? Okay, so now let's move on to the next part. It's about another way is create a supportive assessment environment. Yeah, the first one, I think this one is very maybe interesting to me, is about encouraging a growth mindset, because you know that a positive environment can foster confidence and reduce anxiety. And with a growth mindset, with effort and practice, can help students view assessment as learning opportunities rather than judgment of fixed ability, right? So for this one, I often create a very maybe to emphasize. I often emphasize progress over perfection. So after grade, maybe for example, after grading essays, which focus on feedback on improvement, I often tell my student that maybe kind of your use of supporting evidence has improved compared to your last essay. So in very encouraging way, not just only focus on the mistake of the student. And also we can use some encouraging words like better, try to be better next time. And next one is to provide clear instructions. I think instructions play an important role in the effectiveness of teaching and also assessing, right? So how to provide clear instructions? So how to improve to provide clear instructions? We have some techniques. The first one is to provide detailed guidelines. For example, before we let the student present, right, for a group project, we should include clear categories, marking scheme for students. Like creativity, we have 4 maybe 3 criteria. Like creativity will account for 20%, teamwork 30%, and presentation skills 50%. So make sure that students understand the marking criteria with very detailed and from informative instructions. Also, you can provide some visual aids or examples. For example, can show the sample answers for student. For example, when you ask your student to write an essay or a paragraph, you can maybe at the end of the lesson, you can provide a model paragraph or a model essay for student to clarify the expectations. And the last one is offering emotional support. For this one, I think that adopt an open policy, open door policy is very important. So you should let your students approach you with questions before the assessment form. Everything is clear. And also offer, maybe I said before, the supportive and encouraging words to reduce anxiety is also important too. So when students feel supported, they're more likely to perform at their best and view assessment as part of their learning journey. Okay, can you move on to the next slide? So actually, I have a question for you about the way to incorporate feedback from learners. How can you incorporate feedback from learners? So on the slide, I have just suggested maybe two only main ways is to conduct surveys or interviews. And next one is encourage reflection. So can you suggest more ways to incorporate feedback from learners? All right, I saw some answers in the chat box about maybe, yeah, encouraging words and trial and errors, right? We have the lesson, provide them criteria, rubrics. Yeah, very correct. So how about this question? How to incorporate feedback from learners? Except for conduct survey or interview students, right? And encouraging reflection.
Um, can I add something
Sure.
else for
Sure.
you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I have like I had a chance to participate in a very special um like workshop by VietTESOL, and as far as I remember, they have like a kind of feedback tree, so that the participant they might have some kind of feedback or kind of feeling about the workshop. They may leave like a sticky note and then they stick it to the tree so that like they have a kind of visual things to show in front of them, so that I think somehow the teacher may use it in the class, so somewhere they can put the tree. Other than that, we can have a different kind of the visual aids, so that we can ask the student to write down something, so that, or even like they can like write it and then put it in a box, so that they can be secretly and anonymously like show their opinions and comments and feelings about our our teaching. I think that's a good way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And actually, for me, with my student, I often do some maybe minor survey from maybe after maybe three first weeks, the student will have to do a survey about the way the teaching methodology, whether they like my teaching methods or not, or whether they want to change anything in group work or discussion or maybe activities in class. And I think this one is very wonderful because I can know what the students are expecting, and I will adapt my teaching technology methodology. And another way is maybe, for example, in a speaking activity, the student can rate their own performance and then compare it with the peer feedback to identify the areas of agreement or differences. So I think it's rather effective also. And oh, I see some comments here. Peer assessment, yeah, it's similar to me, right? It's peer assessment. All right, so can you move on to the next slide, please? We have some questions, right? Yeah, so we have some questions to revise what we have talked about, the supportive assessment environment, and also how to incorporate feedback from learners. All right, so let's do it. Yeah, so we have three correct answers, right? And one correct answer in the chat box, right? And actually, this one I have mentioned already, right? So next one, next question. It's about the way, the importance of incorporating feedback from learners. So we have six answers, no, seven answers in total, and we have two answers. Two teachers chose number B, right, to eliminate the need for teacher evaluation. No, I think that teacher cannot be replaced by any other stakeholders. Even the learners, teacher still visible in every aspect, every step in the teaching journey. And to make assessments easier, maybe to some extent I think it's more, it's not really easier, but I think it's more convenient and more collaborative. Not only not really easier, right? Because students have to maybe some to some extent students also struggle with some kind of peer assessment because they are not they are unclear about the marking criteria, and maybe it's kind of objective, right? All right, next question. This one is about the effectiveness of the inclusive assessments. All right, we have seven correct answers. Yeah, you know that student feedback can provide insights into how accessible and fair the assessment from the learner's perspective, right? And analyzing data like trends or error patterns of student or improvement rates can help students understand which aspect of assessment are working and maybe where the adjustment might be needed. All right. And we often combine, I often combine these two methods to ensure that assessment are meeting both pedagogical goals and students' needs. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so we have discussion section here. The question is, what challenges have you faced in adapting assessment for learners with SEN? Yeah, so I think that the phenomenon that every maybe each class will have some kind of SEN students. I think it's very popular now, even with my students. In gifted high school, we often have students with autism or depression. They struggle with mental problems, right? So what challenges have you faced in adapting assessment for learners with SEN? Can you give me some thoughts or share some opinions about this one?
Can I go first?
Yeah.
I think that like all of you would have like the same thing, some kind of thoughts to share. Okay, so I would go first because like I'm the one who collaborate with you with this sharing. So I think yeah, I have mentioned the boy that he was in my class already, right? So when it comes to the lesson on also, I mean for the assessment in the class, I mean ongoing assessment. So we would have some kind of rehearsal. I mean, some kind of thing that we would have like in class presentation. It would be short, and I supposed to do it in like for 15 minutes for one group of 5 students. And you know what happened? He was he was too worried and anxious that he couldn't control his emotion, so that he talked really fast and I couldn't hear a single word of him. And also he showed that like his face turned red, and then like it's like just one more word, or just waiting one more second, he would burst out, like I mean, like turn to like a different kind of character. I mean, so that so yeah, in that case, as far as I know, as far as I'm concerned, I was like really like serious, and also I was calm to like just calm him down first. And then yeah, I just like go quickly with the feedback of other students. And for him, okay, I would like tell to you, I mean, I would like spend some time after the section, after the lesson, to talk to him more. Because you know what, like if I invest, I mean, if I spend too much time on this group, that means I have to waste the time of other group. So yeah, so that's what I have like really like the challenge that I have to encounter, like and also I think that is a good one for me to practice as a teacher in the class, because like somehow like teaching inclusively in the class is something really it's a great burden to any individual teacher, like to just ensure that like the student to become engaged in the class, every single student. And some stronger student, they may find it interesting enough, or some weak student, they may find it like difficult enough for them I mean to I mean like they find it like it's not too difficult for them to just like catch up with the pace of the lesson. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I have faced in the time I have taught with my institute. So yeah, I think other teachers, they may have some kind of story to share. So I think Miss Hà Lê, right? Can you unmute yourself so that you can share with us?
Hello. I'm here to support the two faculties today. Let me share with all of you about my experience with my class. Um, well, to be honest, from my experience in my class, especially I'm teaching business speaking skills with my students. And here's the story. We were learning about how to negotiate in business situations. And I asked my students to role play a negotiation between a supplier and a company looking to purchase products. And one of my students was very nervous at first because he thought his English wasn't strong enough to negotiate. But gradually, I encouraged him to focus on key phrases like, can we agree on? And how about we blah, blah. And after practicing for a while, he became much more confident. And during the role play, he used these phrases to ask for better prices, and he even suggested a compromise. And the other students who played the supplier's role were very impressed by his ability to stay calm and use polite and business language. So this was a great moment for me in my class because he showed me that with the right tools and practice, anyone can negotiate effectively. And even if they feel unsure at first, And it is a good reminder for all of us, especially for me, myself, that in my business speaking class, it is not just about speaking perfectly. It is about using the right language to communicate clearly and confidently. And that is one thing that I want to share with you in my teaching context in the relation with with SEN, SEN. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your sharing. I think your sharing is deserved a gift from the organizer. So can you please send me really like individual chat so that like with your personal information so that we can gather your information. Okay, so that yeah later the send you the gift from the organizer. Is that okay?
Yes, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, Miss Hong, do you remember the one that share with us share the story? I think Miss Nhật Phương, right?
Yeah.
Miss Nhật Phương, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
So thank you very much for your sharing. So yeah, I would like to send you a special gift from the organizer. So can you please like send to me the Pha Si Võ Duy Đức host, okay, your personal information so that I can collect it and then send to the organizer so that like we can send you a lovely gift from the organizer. Is that
Thank you
okay?
so much.
Okay, so actually, like after the two sharings, we have like the two active participant, right, Miss Hong?
Yeah.
So yeah. So would you like to share anything else so that like we can end up the slide so that we can find out some more participants who are active today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I will maybe have a two stories, not only one.
Okay.
Yeah, about kind of STEM students. So the first one is my students. So you know that I am an English teacher for gifted students, the kind of STEM, right? However, I feel that I'm a little bit more fortunate than other teachers because my students are divided into separate classes. Yeah, but actually, I still face challenges because although they are gifted, their proficiency levels are not uniform, especially in productive skills. And you know that students from urban areas often have a stronger foundation in English, particularly in productive skills like writing and speaking skills, because they have better access to modern learning environments and opportunities to use language in real life contexts. But for students from rural areas, they often maybe they might excel in academic skills like grammar or reading, but they have to struggle to apply English in communication and creative writing tasks. So I have to balance supporting weaker students without slowing down the progress of stronger ones, right? So in this case, I always have to diversify assessment methods such as doing projects or presentation or writing portfolios to meet the needs of the student. And you know that the workload, the teacher's task is very large. I feel very stressed and maybe some to some extent very challenging for me, a very challenging task for me. And for the second story, I mean, maybe a kind of the challenges here is maybe stem from the lack of training or expertise. So as far as I remember, during a speaking lesson for non-English major class, maybe there was a student with the same case as Miss Nhật Phương, ADHD and maybe autism. I don't know how to clarify it, but when I assign the class to working groups with a project, and the student in his group became very noisy, and that student banged on the table and stared very intensively. And in this way, I was very terrified. Maybe it was the first time I experienced such situation. I didn't know how to do, what to do, except for calming him down and maybe asking the student, other student to be quiet. And later at the end of the lesson, I spoke it with him, and I learned that he felt very hurt and disrespected by other students. So maybe in the next lesson, I try to group him in different groups with other students who have better attitudes and maybe supportive than the old ones. Yeah. So I have two stories to share with you.
Lovely. I think you have struggled a lot in your class. Yeah, autism is something that like we have different kind of spectrum in like classifying autistic student, right? Yeah. So I think Miss Hong, can you please share the
We have,
Padlet?
yeah, we have the acid
Is that
ticket,
okay?
right?
Yeah, as a ticket. So that okay, I would stop sharing. Is that okay? So that you can share. Stop sharing.
Sorry, I will send you the link and you still share the screen because my
Okay, it's fine.
screen
It's
very,
fine. It's fine. Yeah, please. Um, let me make it a little bit. um,
yeah.
Okay, where are you? Um, so where do you send it to me? Like, is it on the Zoom or somewhere?
I send no in the chat box, right? The chat box.
Just give me a second. Okay, I would open it. Um, just wait for me a few seconds.
Yeah, I sympathize with Miss Võ Thị Cẩm Diệu about the curriculum, right? We have a very fixed curriculum to follow. And so it's very challenging to address individual needs effectively. And also a big size class. So how many students are there in your class, Miss Diệu?
I want to unmute to share something.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, a big size class. Normally, my class has about 38 to 45 students. So it's a big size class. So maybe there is one or two students with kind of stands kids in classes and with a fixed curriculum and short time for a lesson. So we do not have enough times to maybe to take care much care for the STEM students. So I think that is a very big a very big challenge for us for me to deal with some kind of sense cases in classes.
Yeah, I agree with you because actually for in my story, the class size is maybe 46 students. So I think it's too big, right? And we often provide undivided attention, unfair attention to individual students. And for me, I often maybe I think it's very tiring and challenging, but I often use Messenger or Zalo to communicate with students at night to maybe to ask them to share their opinions about the activity or yeah. But I think it's very time consuming, and as teacher we have a lot of stuff to do with the family and also the schoolwork, but we have to maybe to struggle with the needs, individual needs from learners.
Yeah, as Miss Hong, she has sent the link to the Padlet. So could you please all as a participant, can you leave some kind of words about 3 things you have found impressive about our sharing today, or 2 things you want to learn more and you want to take away or something like that, or 1 activity you might or you will use in your class. So yeah, please, can you get the link and also filling the things that we really want you to share in the asset ticket. I think Miss Cẩm Diệu, you are really active today, and also in the chat box I could see Miss as I remember, Miss Nguyễn Thị Hạnh Hồng. Are you here? Are you here, Nguyễn Thị Hạnh Hồng? You are really active today. So can you please share your, yeah, thank you. So can you please share your personal information so that like we can send you a small gift. And also Miss Cẩm Diệu, can you send me? I would have direct message to you first, okay? And Miss Cẩm Diệu, are you here? Okay. So I think Miss Hồng, in order not to waste our time, so that like we can give it later time for the participant to share. Yeah, could you please read the sharing of Miss Phạm Thu Huyền? She is trying to like share with us a lot today. And also like we have like so do you think that we would go back to our slide so that we can see who else would participate much in our sharing today? Is that okay, Miss Hồng? Do you think so?
That slide, right? So actually about the quizy, right? We have the
Yeah, the quizzes,
yeah, we have the
So
report.
let me stop sharing this, okay? Let me stop sharing this, and we would come back later, and then we would see, okay, who have participated in our session so that we can figure out and then ask the participant to send us to provide some personal information so that we can collect it, okay? Just wait for me a few seconds so that I could send it to the organizer. Okay, let me share. Where is it? Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's go next. Okay, thank you very much for your participation today. So we're gonna see who else can get the gift from us. So yeah, we would end the lesson today. Okay, we would like yeah, Miss Nhật Phương, you actively participated us already, right? And I would like Miss Bảo Ngân and Neo Trần. Are you here? Bảo
Yeah.
Ngân, Neo Trần, Trần or something.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, can you please send me the direct message of your personal info so that we can collect it and send some kind of gift from the organizer to you? Is that okay?
Sure, thank you.
Okay, please, direct message, not the public one. Okay. I think it would be great, right? Let me go back to the exit ticket so that we can see some other participants so that they can have some kind of sharing. Okay, so yes, Miss Hong, can you please share the exit ticket with the audience?
About the, what do you mean by share the exit ticket? Summarize, right?
Yeah, just a quick recap of like what the participant of us today have shared here.
Yeah, so actually I can see some lovely comments from your the essay ticket. We have three things you found impressive. I think most of you felt impressive about the way to the strategies for adapting assessment, right? And maybe some of you talk about the AI technology and the tools, technological tools to apply in your teaching and assessing, and also about the stories that we have shared together. And two things you want to learn more about. So I want to learn more about the techniques for inclusive assessment. About the comment from Miss Nhật Phương. Yeah, actually, we also want to know more about the techniques for inclusive assessment, because we are not expertise, right? And especially, as I mentioned before about the training, lack of training, and especially for students with mental problems, I think it's very important for us to understand more about the mental health and the psychological of students. Next one is about one activity you use in class, using survey to receive feedback from learners. Yeah. So next one, using Padlet quizzes in my teaching, use more AI tools for assessment in speaking, writing, make a checklist so that students can do peer check feedback more easily. Yeah, thank you so much. I think that you paid much attention to our sharing, and I hope that you can apply the techniques that we have shared in this sharing section in your teaching and assessing as well.
Yeah, me too. So thank you very much for paying much attention to our presentation today. So we hope that like with our like sharing today and also our other ideas of other teachers can help you as a teacher, trainer, educator, can be the one that who would be really serious and also who would be really aware of the sense so that we can like boost our teaching methodology so that we can like create an engaging environment in our class. So that's it for today. So thank you very much for your participation and also we would so much like to see you all in the upcoming like chances of our like online courses in the collaboration from British Council and also VietTESOL. So one more time, thank you very much. And we would like to send our thanks to the organizer today to like for believing us as a facilitator in the sharing today. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing. And hope to see you next time.